This is some steel cable that used to hold my neighbor Steve's cars up on his car ramp, and I want to make some Damascus out of it. It has many years of dirt, dust, and grease on it that needs to be cleaned off. So I want to get it onto the wire wheel, but I don't exactly know whether it's best to cut it into small pieces first or do it while it's long, or maybe somewhere in the middle. I'm a bit concerned that it might unravel when I do cut it, so I guess we'll find out if it does.
Oh, that's definitely high carbon steel. Look at those sparks, baby.
Ooh, it's made of so many different diameters of wire. Got thick wires, thin wires, ultra itty bitty wires. I thought this was all gonna be just the same wire. I think it does risk coming apart. That is nuts, all different diameter strands. I did not expect cable to be like that.
Oh, I've tried being lazy. That's not gonna work. Every single cut is gonna need to be taped.
Right, this might be overkill. Looks like we're gonna fit that in there about double. So, as compared to when we're making titanium Damascus and we're using a can in order to pump argon gas through it to keep the oxygen away, it's less critical with steel that there is oxygen there. We want as little as possible, but it doesn't require an inert atmosphere. The can today is just going to be to contain all these little sticks of cable together, but I want the can to come off easy. Now, I can't remember if this is a technique that I've actually done in one of these YouTube videos because we've made so many of them that I actually forget what it is that we've done. We have two options. Option one is we put some stainless steel foil inside our can. Option two is some white spray paint. So I say we flip a coin.
You've definitely done this multiple times.
You seen that?
Yeah, for sure.
You seen that before?
Yeah, plenty of times.
Okay, well, let's try some spray paint then. That's what happens when you try and be too cool. Stay away. All right, leave for 24 hours. Let that dry for a few seconds. Now, on the topic of steel, which is all of our topics ever, and also happens to be my last name, it's been in the news a little bit lately. US Steel was about to be bought by Japan's Nippon Steel until that was blocked, but as it turns out, President Trump has just had a meeting with US Steel to discuss having Nippon Steel invest in it. And I found out about this thanks to today's sponsor, which is Ground News. It's an app and website designed to help you compare news coverage across different political perspectives. It also helps us challenge our biases and get as close to the truth as we can. Ground News provides a really easy to understand summary of the news, but I love that it'll help show me my blind spot and show me news that I might otherwise not have come across. When you look at coverage, you can easily see a bias comparison to see how different news outlets are covering a particular story. And all this helps us escape our own bubbles and our own echo chambers, and I think that's pretty awesome. With the state of the world, I think that Ground News is a really awesome product, and I hope that you go and check it out, because when you use my link, which is ground.news/Alec, or you scan the QR code that is on screen, you'll be able to save 40% off their Vantage plan, which is the same plan that I use. Go to ground.news/Alec, click the link in the description, or scan the QR code on screen. Thank you to them for sponsoring the video. Let's get back to it. Hopefully, it's dry. It's still not dry. I don't think I want to be burning off all this electrical tape, so hopefully, without budging it too much, it won't come apart. Oh, look at that. Fits 5 almost perfectly. Oh, it's a tight squeeze. Perfect. Hup. Oh, in we go. Woo, look at that. There's some serious stuff burning off in there. You know what they say? A can full of burning paint, grease, and oil a day keeps the doctor away. Holy crappa molly. We got sparklers going on at the back of the forge there. Don't usually get sparklers coming out unless we got cast iron in there. Oh no, that's gonna set off the fire alarm. Shoot! This is not good. I'm gonna start oh so gently on this. Easy does it. We've got a lot of space to compress. Look at that flame! It's like a candle. Wow, that's not as gentle as I was hoping. Wow, that is not consolidating at all. That's very worrying. V-dyes. I need bloody V-dyes. This really would be better suited to V-dyes. It's not the first time I've said that. Last time I said that, I then spent about 4 weeks making a set of V-dyes. This is too small to fit inside these enormous V-dyes. Oh, look inside there, Jamie. What does that look like?
Looks cool.
Holy crap, that does look epic! Maybe it's just because the box was loose that it looked like it was so unconsolidated. That doesn't look half terrible. Ha! I just slid it out. No way. Wow, that white paint trick really is good. Look at the cable. Oh my goodness, that's sick. A little bit of borax. Now that we're out of the can. Well, I'm very happy. That was a quick mood change from, wow, what am I going to do? There goes even more time wasted. You don't know how much time we've wasted on failed projects this month so far. And in one heat, it went to, oh, yippee, we might actually be able to have this thing work. Yay! This really just doesn't get old. This is so wild to me that we can stick together those nasty, grimy, oily bits of wire into a solid bit of metal. What? I wonder how many thousands of individual strands there were. And now, this is almost an entirely solid block. What should we do with it? Maybe I'll let it cool down, cut off a slice, grind the sides, see what it looks like, and then decide what we want to do. Scared me. Should we have a goosey gander?
A what now?
You never had a goosey gander?
I've heard of a look-see.
Well, let's have a little see look. It definitely looks like there are little voids, little cavities inside the material where it has not fully become one homogeneous piece. So I then ground down into a corner to see if that was just the outer skin or if those little funky bits permeate through the entire depth of the billet. On end, we can see that in fact they do. This is the very, very end slice. And here it's extra clear where it's unconsolidated and there's some of those little holes. Let's drop it in the acid. Now here's the deal, most Damascus shows pattern by virtue of it having different alloys. This cable Damascus is probably going to be comprised of a single alloy. Why would you have a different alloy of steel for the different strands of your cables? Doesn't make sense. Oh. But despite that, I see pattern, Jamie. It means there's something else going on. In one of Dr. Laren Thomas's books, he describes why this phenomenon happens. It is because of decarburization. When those tiny little strands are heated up super hot in that forge, they're exposed to a little bit of oxygen, and as a result, some of the carbon that's at the very surface of those wires in the material is lost to the reaction with oxygen. If we pretend this is a cross-section of one of those wires, it means we might have an alloy percentage of, theoretically, 0.7% through the bulk of it, but on the edges, there's a thin layer with less carbon than that, and that change in carbon changes how it reacts with this acid, revealing the pattern of the cable that's inside. Oh, I love it on end. Oh my goodness. You can see all the different constellations of wires. I think that to best make something from this, we need to use the end grain. I'm quite curious to see what hardness it is in this unhardened state. Well, that is not very hard at all. 12 Rockwell. 18 Rockwell, getting harder. Seems like the more we poke at it, the harder it gets. In order to expose the end grain pattern to the outside world, there's a number of ways we could do it. And today we're going to go with the accordion cut. We're going to be cutting out V's from the material, leaving us with a bit of metal that looks like this. And that means once it's stretched out, what was here ends up on the side with a little bit of weirdness here.
Mate, you're having a laugh, aren't you? You're gonna cut through with that.
Well, I like to dream that I don't have to go into the grinding room, when really I know I probably will have to, right? Ha-ha! It's going through like butter.
What butter that's been on the top of Everest in the last 2 years.
Glaciated butter. Booyah! Look at that. So all the end grain in all these cuts is going to be brought to the surface when we stretch it out and flatten it down. Now I took one of those little triangles that we cut out and I'm going to harden and temper it so that we can test the hardness after a heat treatment. I drilled those holes at the bottom so that hopefully it's less likely to crack as we stretch it open. However, I am still a bit terrified about the potential of it cracking.
Hardness test that little sample real quick.
How hard this gets is going to dictate what it is that we make from our steel. So if this comes up really, really hard, then we can make a knife. If it doesn't come up very hard, we might have to make something that's a little, that's requiring less hardness. A nice chef's knife, for example, would like, ideally, to be in the range of about 60 Rockwell C. A hammer, maybe in the range of 50. An anvil, about 50 as well. Wow, that barely hardened at all. 12. 18. Oh no. Maybe the forge scale is doing something weird. There we go, a little bit better. 38 Rockwell. 12 Rockwell. What? It's like there's hard bits and soft bits. So maybe there are different alloys. 51 Rockwell. Shockingly inconsistent readings. 31 Rockwell. What we're learning is, potentially because the different diameters of wire that make up this material experience a relatively different amount of decarburization, I wonder if we've drastically reduced the carbon in some of these components, or they did in fact use different alloys across the different strands of their cable. A little bit of context for you. The way this works is there is a diamond tip here. You calibrate a certain amount of force on the diamond tip, and depending on how deep the diamond tip pushes into the material, you're able to determine how hard it is. My hope there is I was going to be able to do that test and come out and say, yay, we can now make a knife from it. Well, it doesn't look like it would be very good knife steel to us. But what on earth are we going to do instead? Should we do a little normalizing? We normalized it, heated it up, let it air cool. It's the next morning, and I've decided that what I'm going to make is a pry bar. It's not hard enough to make a really nice blade. We need a canvas to showcase the pattern that's wide. So this is going to be one utility pry bar coming right up. Little test etch. See how she's looking? Oh wow, delightful. I can't see anything. Before tempering, I do wonder how hard this one got. It's not going to be hugely accurate because of the scale. Holy crap! 55 Rockwell. Well, dang it. Could have made a knife from it. 48 Rockwell. Okay, maybe we've indicated. Good choice to make it a crowbar. Now we temper. About to be the fanciest crowbar there is. My life, bro. I can't even open it. Fuck, I can't even open a can of coffee without spilling it. So the crowbar, of course, went into the acid. When we're doing typical Damascus steel, the alloys that we use for the different layers are vastly different from a chemical standpoint. And so one alloy is etched away by the acid, the other one stays proud, and then putting it in coffee for a good long while brings out a ton of contrast. But this here crowbar is a very good demonstration of why you really ideally need there to be different chemical makeups in the alloys that you use, because simply the decarburized zone is not enough to make good contrast. I mean, really, this kind of sucks. If you look really closely, it's epic. But I don't think this is going to be the next big thing in Damascus making because you can't make a knife from it. You can't get super vibrant contrast. Summary of this, better stick with your 1080 and your 15N20. I hope that you check out today's sponsor, which was Ground News. Go to ground.news/Alec. I appreciate you being here sincerely. Thank you for giving us a little bit of your time. See you on the next one. Bye-bye. 3, 2, 1. And that's how you crowbar open a door.